So remember how I've said many times that we need to watch out for deception. This is someone who says here MAGA, and MAGA is to do with this Make America Great Again movement led by Trump. He says MAGA is just now figuring out that Butler, and when they say Butler, they talk about, I think it's in Pennsylvania, Butler, Pennsylvania, where this so-called the alleged assassination attempt on Trump took place. Says that Butler was staged. They're only now just figuring it out. And why are they saying that? Because I just came across this information during this past week. This is supposed to have happened just after the attempted assassination on Trump. But if the health ranger, I think it's Mike Adams, is his real name, he says here, someone called Trisha Hope actually said, please point to the bullet hole. And Mike Adams said, no bullet hole visible, not even any small piece of ear missing. So how does this story add up? So very interesting. If you look at Donald Trump there, this is all fake blood. Donald Trump is an actor. For those who don't know this, I'll show you proof of this. So the text that I was referring to in terms of deception, Jesus spoke about deception quite a lot in Matthew 24. And I'll just show you very briefly. I will maybe not read everything, but yeah, Matthew 24, starting with verse 4. Speaking of what would happen in the end times, is take heed that no man deceive you. This was Jesus speaking. For many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ, and shall deceive many. Verse 11, many false prophets shall rise and deceive many. And verse 24, for they shall arise false Christs and false prophets, and shall shew great signs and wonders, insomuch that if it were possible, they shall deceive the very elect. And of course, we've got Revelation 12, verse 9. Speaking of the dragon, also known as Satan, he says, and the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceives the whole world, and he was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. So he deceives the whole world. Deception. The devil's modus operandi is actually deception. He deceives the whole world. So any major event that you see happening around the world, including this war with Iran, it's a deception. Okay, climate change is a deception. The war on terror was a deception, including 9/11 itself. That was done by the American government. Another verse that talks about deception is Revelation 18, verse 23. And this is speaking mainly about the pharmaceutical industry. It says, let me just read the whole thing. And the light of a candle shall shine no more at all in thee. Speaking of Babylon. Okay, see Babylon here. The light of a candle shall shine no more at all in thee. And this is spiritual Babylon, not geographic Babylon in Iraq. And the voice of the bridegroom and of the bride shall be heard no more at all in thee. For thy merchants of the earth, that 1%, the super rich rather, the Bill Gates, the Ted Turners, all the multi-millionaires and multi-billionaires, Warren Buffett and others, it says these merchants were the great men of the earth, for by thy sorceries were all nations deceived. And the root word for the word sorcery is pharmakia, from where we get the word pharmacy from. Okay, it says the pharmaceutical industry are involved in deceiving the world, and that's what happened during this pandemic. Trying to think of another verse that talks about deception. Revelation chapter 13. Verse 14, and of course this is talking about verse 11 onwards is talking about the second beast, which is America. The first beast is the papacy. Okay, but I'll explain all this when we get to chapter 13. But verse 14 says, speaking of America, it says, America deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles. These are false miracles, which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image to the beast, which had the wound by a sword and did live. So 9/11, the allegation that an American ship was attacked by the Vietnamese in the Gulf of Tonkin, that all is lies. the the story that Saddam Hussein and his government had weapons of mass destruction. That all turned out to be lies. Okay, so all these things, the false flag events, are being used by America to attack other countries on behalf of the papacy. So it's going back to Trump. Um, Trump actually wrote a book. I don't know how many of you know this, but he wrote a book called Out of the Deal. So if we go to the cover, and I've said many times that Trump is an actor. Okay, he's an actor. He was in The Apprentice, in a show called The Apprentice. This is from the star of NBC's hit show, The Apprentice. #1 national bestseller, Trump, the Out of the Deal. Okay, let me just go back to that page that I was on. I don't know if we'll come back now. Yeah, here. So listen to what he said here. This is on page 89. It says, I began by attending Fordham University in the Bronx, mostly because I wanted to be close to home. I got along very well with the Jesuits who ran the school. But after 2 years, I decided that as long as I had to be in college, I might as well test myself against the best. He then went on to finish his studies at University of Pennsylvania, which is also a Jesuit-run university. But it's very interesting here. Makes it very clear he got along very well with the Jesuits. So even now, do you think that the Jesuits don't have any influence on him? Of course, they've got influence on him. That's why he's doing all these crazy things like attacking Iran for no reason. And of course, Iran is also involved in the agenda that's going on. You know, they might be acting like they hate America and they hate Israel, but actually, what is happening in this war is bringing about not just a new world order, but fulfilling the goal, the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, and also achieving net zero goals as well. Something else I wanted to share with you is specifically with regards to Trump being an actor. See here, Donald Trump received a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame on January 16, 2007, located at that address in Hollywood Boulevard, for his role as producer of The Apprentice and the Miss Universe pageant. And Trump was also starred in The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air and in Home Alone, and he was also in World Wrestling Entertainment as well, formerly known as World Wrestling Federation. So yeah, he starred in many films, and of course I showed you that he was in The Apprentice as well, for which they say that he got this Hollywood Walk of Fame. That's his star there. Okay, so yeah. For those who are wondering why Trump is doing all these crazy things, because first of all, he's a Jesuit puppet, and secondly, he's an actor. Okay, so all those promises that he made is totally against that. And even with regards to immigration, which was one of the main things he promised, he would stop illegal immigration. He apparently said a few weeks ago that he wasn't going to go after illegal immigrants anymore. So yeah, for those who are wondering why Trump is doing all this crazy stuff, because you're not supposed to. I've explained already why he's doing all these things, because he doesn't have any real power. He's just a puppet. He's doing exactly as his masters are telling him to do. Some other verses as well I'll share before I finish the video. I think it's Jeremiah chapter 17. Let's close this. Jeremiah. Jeremiah chapter 17 verse 5, I think it is. Yeah. Jeremiah 17:5. Thus saith the Lord, cursed be the man that trusts in man and maketh flesh his arm. When it says maketh flesh his arm, you make another man your defense and your protection, and whose heart departeth from the Lord. So anyone who trusts another man, it makes that person their defense. It says you are cursed. Okay. But who is blessed? Verse 7. Blessed is the man that trusts in the Lord and whose hope the Lord is. There's also another text which I think I'll end with. I think it says trust not in princes, if it comes up. Psalms 146 verse 3, put not your trust in princes, nor in the Son of Man, in whom there is no help. In fact, if we go, I don't know if it gives the reason as to why you should, Psalms 146 verse 3. Put not your trust in princes, nor in the Son of Man, in whom there is no help. Why should you not put your trust in princes or in any man? Because in verse 4 it says, his breath goeth forth. In other words, he dies and he returns to his earth when he's buried. In that very day his thoughts perish. But happy is he that hath the God of Jacob for his help, whose hope is in the Lord his God. Yeah, for those who trusted Trump, especially these Americans, obviously, and are disappointed, you can see why we are told not to trust any man. So yeah, there's no political, there's no remedy in politics, basically. So even when Trump goes off the scene and someone else comes along making promises, don't trust that person. The world is actually getting worse. It's not getting better, regardless of what politicians say. It's not getting better. We're being stripped of our God-given rights, and the world is getting worse, including, we're being put in a position where we can't even travel because of the destruction of oil infrastructure, and now they want to force us to eat bugs. As they try to achieve their Agenda 2030 goals, which had been set forth by the United Nations. So yeah, there's nothing good that can come out of politics. Of course, there are politicians who are fighting for us, but they are in the minority. So yeah, don't trust anyone. Put your faith in God. Yeah, thanks for watching the video, and I'll see you in the next one.
Sorry, but none of this seems real. Like, at all. You've probably heard by now, a suspect armed with knives and guns tried to storm the White House Correspondents' Dinner tonight. The guy's name was Cole Allen, and he was very quickly neutralized by security. But then people online started to do a little bit of noticing. Pause to read. Yeah, I don't know about you, but it's starting to look like one big show, beginning with what Caroline Levitt said right before the start of the event.
It'll be funny. It'll be entertaining. There will be some shots fired tonight in the room.
This, by the way, is Trump's first time attending the White House Correspondents' Dinner as president, and CNN ran this article a few hours before saying to expect the unexpected. Within an hour of the incident, Trump tweets out a video of the shooter running through the event. Even though still, for some reason, we can't get any moving pictures of Tyler Robinson. Then it turns out the shooter, Cole Allen, worked at NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory. Very interesting timing given all the UFO stories, so cue the conspiracy theorists on this one. And then there were the reactions, starting with Erica Kirk being Erica Kirk.
I just want to go find
I have to say, she looks very upset here, like way more upset than when her husband... Then we got Dana White just loving this whole thing.
It started getting noisy. Tables getting flipped over, guys running in with guns, and they were screaming, "Get down!" I didn't get down. It was fucking awesome. I literally took every minute of it in, and it was a pretty crazy, unique experience.
Totally normal reaction to what is supposedly a presidential assassination attempt. But the most ridiculous thing has to be maybe this coordinated influencer campaign saying this is why Trump needs a new ballroom.
I didn't want to say this, but this is why we have to have all of the attributes of what we're planning at the White House. It's actually a larger room, and it's much more secure. It's drone-proof, it's bulletproof glass. We need the ballroom. That's why Secret Service, that's why the military are demanding it.
We officially live in the dumbest timeline ever.